This video is going to be about raspberry leaf. And you can either do red raspberry or you can do black raspberry. This happens to be black raspberry and it's growing on my property. It's native to these mountains in the Smokies here. It's called Rubus occidentalis, I believe is how you pronounce that. And it's in the Rosaceae family, which is the rose family. And if it were blooming, I could show you. It looks just like a wild rose when it blooms. And so do blackberries and strawberries. Anything in that Rosaceae family will have the same characteristics. And usually did I say wild strawberries? Wild strawberries are another one. And let's see. Oh, there was actually another, never mind. There was another plant back here that was in the same family that looks like it's not blooming anymore. And I was going to try to show you the bloom, but it looks like just last week it stopped. So I'm going to try to show you, I was back here harvesting. I'll show you that in a minute. But first let's talk about its identification characteristics. Like I said, this is native to the mountain area here. I'm in the Smoky Mountains. I know probably the whole Appalachian range it would be. I don't know its range exactly, but one of its markers is, so it's green on top. You'll see these three distinct, all of them are three leaves, double-toothed margin here. So there's a tooth, like an indent here, an indent here, an indent here, but even in between those indentations are more indentations. That's called a double-toothed margin. And the margin just means the edge of a leaf. So this is the leaf here, these are leaflets, and as you can see when I turn this over, it's white. Now a blackberry will not have a white back. A blackberry will be green on both sides. So this is really a good telltale sign. Another characteristic is that the cane itself will be white. And actually, a lot of this has wild yeast on the back, which is useful in fermentation processes. So you can actually take some of these leaves if you're a sourdough, if you have a sourdough starter, or you like to do wild fermentations of any sort, even sauerkraut or anything like that, you can take some of these leaves, or anything. You know, the blueberry, like a blueberry has the same thing. When you touch a blueberry and you wipe it off, that's wild yeast. So if you were to look at this cane and I were to wipe it off, it comes green. It just comes totally green. Here it is white, and I wipe it off, it's just totally green. So that's wild yeast. And you can use that in your wild fermentations. But so that's a very good, strong indication that you have a raspberry species, either red raspberry, which is usually cultivated here, or this that thrives in the mountains. Now this is a deciduous. It does lose its leaves. It's not an evergreen, and it's a perennial, so it comes back every year. And it's really neat because, well, the berries have come and gone. So we picked them, a month and a half ago. And they don't have, they're not a red raspberry, they're a black raspberry. So they look black. They're dark purple, very dark purple, like a blackberry would be. If you were to squish it, it's actually a dark purple juice, and it looks black. And they're smaller than a blackberry, typically. This is really cool. This is how the canes spread out wide like this, and they actually begin to root themselves again. Let's see if this one's rooting itself. The cane just spreads way out, and I can go ahead and uproot this for the sake of educational purposes. You see that there? This was digging itself into the ground and sending out some roots. And actually, if I just clip this off right here, and I go bury this in a pot, or I go bury this in another bed, it will start a whole new cane. So they can be propagated that way and shared with people. I will probably actually I'm doing a medicinal and a native nursery here at the Mountain Arts Center. So I'm starting to really gather seeds and gather cuttings, and starting a lot more perennials, medicinals, natives. So if you guys are in the Gatlinburg area and you want to stop by and you'd really like to see if I have, what I have to share medicinally that you can take home and go grow, go ahead and stop by. I know a lot of people visit Gatlinburg, and that's where we are. So what is this good for? So this is really high in minerals, and a lot of what it does comes from the fact that it's just so rich in, it's got polyphenols and tannins, which are your antioxidants, and of course antioxidants go throughout your body and kill, they just kind of zap free radicals, which gets rid of oxidative stress, which helps with just anti-aging and disease and things like that. It's rich in B vitamins, B6, I think it's really high in. It's got potassium, calcium, magnesium, all the things that really keep your body very balanced. And a lot of people will know raspberry as like a female tonic, and really it's good for all stages. So let's walk through them. Not children. It's not going to be bad for children. In fact, it's not harmful at all because of all those minerals. Children can actually benefit. This is a safe plant to take for any age, and they could be benefiting from the minerals if you were to make like a raspberry leaf tea, and that's what I'm gathering here, just the leaf. I did get one of those runners, and I'm gonna go ahead and plant that so that I can be putting those in pots. But this, I'm just gonna take the leaf, I'm gonna dry it thoroughly, either on an air dryer, solar dryer, or even a dehydrator, because it's kind of humid. And if you wanted to just brew tea, then you could do that. It actually is a very good tasting tea. You could also make a tincture or an extract out of this. If you didn't want to use alcohol to make a tincture, you can use a glycerite, a vegetable glycerin, and this would be great for children, just to give them a mineral drench, if you will. So it could be used for children. In teens, again, it's really good for all things female. I won't go too much into like, yes, males can take it. Okay, this isn't gonna like help you. It's not gonna, you won't get pregnant, okay? You won't get pregnant. Take it. I always say you can drink my pregnancy teas. So all of these go in, raspberry goes in almost all my pregnancy teas that I make. And my husband says, if I drink that, will it make me pregnant? Yes, of course it will. So, I'll just focus on women right now. But yes, men, yes, boys, you can take this with no ill effects. So young females who are coming into 13, 14, and they have a lot of hormones just raging, this really helps the liver. The liver in turn helps everything. So the liver is our biggest, it has like hundreds of functions, and science doesn't even know all of its functions yet, but this really does help the liver to process out and metabolize out excess hormones. Anytime you can help the liver, you're helping your entire body, because it's the one that's pumping out toxins and pumping out excess hormones and adrenaline and cortisol and heavy metals. It does it all. So anytime you can help your liver, you're helping your whole body. But this contains I don't want to say like progesterone, it's phytoprogesterone-like properties. So it helps to, I have yellow jackets on my feet, so if I get stung and scream, just don't laugh. I don't know, I hate yellow jackets. So it's going to help balance out excess progesterone. And what that will help is to balance out all hormonal curves. So it'll help bring down the estrogen spikes that cause PMS. It will help regulate both progesterone, testosterone, estrogen, all three. And that in turn helps things like PMS, mood swings, cramping. The magnesium in this really does help with cramping in general. It's also very good for bloating and gas and digestive issues in general. And then once you get into like fertility, so if you have infertility, a lot of times that can be caused by hormone imbalance again, and this would help with that. So it has the potential to regulate your body and help you with infertility issues. Let's get into early pregnancy. So a lot of people used to say, oh, don't take raspberry during early pregnancy because it brings on contractions. That is a false statement. So what it does is it tones the uterus. So it's not causing the uterus to contract and spasm at all. What it's doing is it's like toning, it's like toning a muscle, right? So you can better use that muscle. So if it's floppy and you're weak, then you can't lift a lot of weight without hurting yourself. If you're having a lot of cramps during PMS or early pregnancy, I know I experienced a lot of cramping in the beginning, not because I was having miscarriages or anything. I just experienced a lot of there's just a lot going on in that area. This helps tone all of that down. So as you tone the uterus gains more control over spasms and over contractions and things like that. So this has actually traditionally been used to, I don't want to use the word prevent, but traditionally it has been used to steer away from miscarriages. So you could take that again in a tea form, and I would take it twice a day, or you can take that in an extract form, either in a glycerin or a tincture. And as you move along in pregnancy, this would just help, again, with all of those minerals that you're really in need of to grow baby and to help you mentally. Your body needs, I learned this the hard way, y'all. One day I'll share this story, but your body desperately needs minerals to mentally function, to regulate sleep, to regulate stress, and of course to grow that baby. So I think it's a great herb to take throughout, even throughout your life, but throughout your pregnancy for sure. And of course, as you get closer to pregnancy and you really just want to be toning that uterus, there's a lot of things you can take to help you prep for labor. And there are things that you would only want to take probably the last 5 to 6 weeks of pregnancy. But this one, just I was personally drinking a quart or 2 of just raspberry iced tea, just the leaf, before pregnancy, and I added other things to it. I'll share on that later. But my 4th pregnancy, I had no pain. I had extremely productive contractions, and I didn't push baby a single time. I kicked back, I relaxed, I was kind of like taking a nap, I was almost falling asleep, and the baby was just born. This was at home, out in the woods here in Smoky Mountains, but so I can contest to just the preparation of your body, and especially your uterus. There are things that you can take to aid in a productive labor and an easier labor, and this is one of them. As menopause comes on, oh wait, let's not jump the gun. Okay, so after labor, hopefully you're breastfeeding. This is actually a great, it'll not cause you to like just produce a ton of milk, but it helps produce a nice rich flow of, again, calcium, potassium, magnesium, B vitamins, rich milk for you and your baby. You need all those things after postpartum anyways, because you're going to be replacing a lot of the calcium and every mineral really. But those are all going to help you just have like better sleep. Baby will sleep better, you'll sleep better, you could avoid postpartum blues, postpartum depression with this, and have a healthy milk supply if you struggle with milk supply. So yeah, I make 3 teas. One is called Little Mama. It's for early pregnancy. I make Big Mama. It's for like later in pregnancy. And then I make Milky Mama. And really, I would put this in all 3. It's not actually in my Little Mama just because some people are still like, oh, I can't take raspberry at the beginning of my pregnancy. I personally put raspberry in my own. And it does go in the other Big Mama and the Milky Mama. But let's see. So yeah, lactation. And then as you go into menopause years, again, because it's helping, like if you're spiking and you're dropping with your hormones just up and down and up and down and up and down, this is going to help regulate those into just maybe more like a gentle curve. And again, there's other things you can take. Black cohosh is one that's famously used for menopause. Just the grouchiness and a lot of the cramping and symptoms that come in with menopause. But this is just something you can safely take. It's delicious. Again, I like to brew mine, keep it in a gallon, pour it over ice, drink it in summer, sweeten it with honey. You can make it into the glycerin and the tincture. It's great for your skin. It's great for your heart. It's great for gastrointestinal issues. Oh, neighbor's mowing. Sorry, y'all. Hopefully you can still hear me. But yeah, what I am doing is I just grab my scissors. I really don't want to buy things that are growing in my backyard that I can hand harvest and deliver something a lot more fresh and a lot more potent. And I know that this is mine. I haven't sprayed it. We spend a lot of time around it, and we mow around it, and we take care of it. And I would much rather deliver a product that has that in it than something I bought off of a shelf or on the internet. So this is one that I like to harvest myself. So what I do is I just go and I clip the leaves like this. And if there's one that's kind of torn up, I actually tend to avoid the ones that are torn up. It's probably just my kid with a stick and pretending it's a sword and whacking at it. He's been doing that, and I've been talking to him about not whacking down my plants because they're all precious to me. And then of course if I see any like signs of bugs on them, like this one back here has some holes in it, and I'm not going to harvest that. But most of these are absolutely perfect, and so I'm just going to go along and snip the leaves like this, and I'm going to leave some of the leaves on the cane just so it can continue to photosynthesize and gather energy to store back in its roots to use again next year and come back and greet us with its lovely presence. So I'm just, like I said, I'm going to go in, I'm going to dry these, and because I don't want the little spikes, there are thorns. They're hugging on me right now. Because there are thorns on here, and obviously we don't want, if you're just brewing tea, that's not an issue, because the thorns aren't going to come off, and you're going to be straining this anyways. But what I do is once it's dried, you can just kind of roll it. You can't really chop it. Even when you buy it, you'll notice it's just rolled like a sage. Like when you buy sage, it's rolled. It's rubbed sage, they call it. This is almost the same consistency. It's very soft, very downy. It's amazing. So once it's dry, you can just rub it like this, maybe with some gloves on if you don't want to get spiked. And it will make a lovely, fluffy, gorgeous dried herb. It smells good, it tastes good, and it's amazing medicine. So that would be it. Black raspberry medicine. Thanks for watching.